Hello, hello, hello. This is Mohammed Shillon coming to you from the USA with my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot, coming to you from Surrey, England. And this na VOS network, VOS television. So today na April 21st, 2024. And we, as usual, we like for engage on current issues or trending issues. So of recent date is that of the Speaker of the House in resignation from Parliament and in speakership. So we get some issues that we want to raise with respect to the Constitution vis-a-vis the office of the Speaker and some what we would call missteps, ill steps, and in fact, maybe procedural errors in terms of how the Speaker submit in resignation, to whom did he submit the resignation, and how a new Speaker will be appointed, and why we are not on the right trajectory for succeed the current or the outgoing Speaker. So, say me always take the position that now it is to run a country or to build a constitution or to draft a constitution is like building a house. You cannot have a one-story foundation and try to build a three-story house on that foundation there. The foundation will not handle it and it will crumble. By the same token, we are not going to be able to keep our head above water in this country of Sierra Leone for moving forward and bring them to par with other countries unless and until we begin to look at things in the light most favorable to the country, not at political parties. Because the country itself is bigger than any political party, but as long as any kind of craftsmanship with respect to regulations and the law is based on preference in terms of what political party is in power or what political party has a say-so in framing the issues, we will always get problem. And Sierra Leone is not going to be able to go further. So now, my co-host, now Mr. Victor Mengot, like I said, who is usually a very able and well-informed person, who is going to really teach we a lot of things that we don't know about government and governance. So before I get to him, let me just touch on one or two things in terms of information that we normally give we audience then when they listen to it. So as far as being able to contact us, since this show is always done live and it's a participatory type of show, listeners are welcome. It's a live show. So listeners, they can call anytime they wish and ask questions in real time, and they get responses in real time. So because of that, we can look for not only put at the screen of we computers as well as we telephones them for the listeners them. But we also want people to participate as much as they can. Now, so the VOS network gets a variety of numbers then. So if you call in from North America, we entail the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and you don't want to pay for the call, you can call at 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. If you call from the UK, again, free of charge, then get a local number. They win a +44 2080891455. Again, +44 2080891455. Likewise, if you're calling from Australia, or you're listening all the way in Australia and want to participate and you want to call and send in a comment, then you can call +61 290984 +61 290984 And then we'll get a universal number, regardless of where you call from, whether not from Sierra Leone or any other part of the country, at no expense to you. You can call on the WhatsApp line, which is 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. And if you are in Sierra Leone also and you want to listen on the radio, we do have a radio station, particularly in the Freetown area. You can call 91.9 FM. You can call 91.9 FM. This show is being carried live on the radio. Say in case you drive your motor car, stationary, what you want for follow up, what you would do, and maybe want for call in. So 91.9 FM will be the right route to go. Then you can also download the VOS mobile app. We get the VOS mobile app. I think our technical team can display the app on the screen for people and for see. From the Google App Store and then the Apple App Store, you can get the VOS mobile app from Google and Apple App Store. So, and we're also carried on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp. And just in case you miss this show live, you can always go on YouTube and you will see the entire coverage from start to finish. Then shortly after the show ends, you can able to see today on YouTube. So if you miss it live. With that said, let me pass on over to my co-host, Mr. Mengot, who will make an introduction of himself and probably, maybe, before I pass on over, maybe I'd need for just go ahead and talk about some of the things that we want to cover today. With the time to do an historical perspective of the House of Representatives and the election of the Speaker, the 1957 Constitution, the Legislative Council, and then composition of the House of Representatives, starting with the Speaker, and so on and so forth. And then we'll get some sub-headings then. As we go ahead, as we go along, we'll go address. So in a nutshell, some of that area they want for address because there seems to be some, we'll do some alignment of the process. We'll try for questions some of the process in terms of how a speaker goes out, Speaker of Parliament, and how a Speaker of Parliament comes in. And we see some constitutional flaws where we want to raise the issue and raise the alarm. And again, and which would test the conviction of governments as to how well-meaning they are in terms of doing what is right for the country, not necessarily giving an undue advantage of one political party over the other, as both SLPP and APC have a history of doing. Everything is what is good for the party, not what's good for the country. Because we know, say, the party and the parties, then two parties here in the country and in opposite or opposing trajectory. So waiting good for the party them, it always seems to be detrimental to the country. What is good for the country will be beneficial to the parties them, but we leaders they not seem for and not reach the pinnacle yet, forget that commitment there. It's all about power, not about what is going to be good for the country, for survive the test of time and for generations to come. So let me pass on over to Mr. Mengot, So from then, we'll just move on. Mr. Mengot, back to you, sir.
Well, Fambule Minakushe, I know say, I know been say, even the fastest sometimes need to take a rest. But today, this topic we will talk about, if we look at Sierra Leone politics today, key insights and future directions. Now the topic, Dandy. But today, I want to take in a good on memory lane. Because they say, if we don't know how they go, no one knows how come out. Most people they know about Parliament, but they don't know the history of Parliament and even the history of the Speaker office. So for inform with people about this wire. So before independence, we been get a new constitution in 1957 under the first leader, the African leader, when I been Sir Milton Magai, or Dr. Magai at the time been there. So that 1957 Constitution Day, now set the foundation for parliamentary democracy in Salon. And parliament in a place way. So before we can get independence, we been get to call the legislative council, they be responsible for laws. That's when they would under colonial master them. And the queen, then at the queen now they give assent to we laws them. Just like when now we're under republic. When the new constitution, that 1957 constitution, now that time the first office of speaker was established. And it been get only 4 officials. When I mean 4 officials, then are the people that where they serve the council. Now, of course, we know say parliament get more than that. Because now you get the clerk of parliament and all that. Then we get 12 paramount chiefs. And the reason we get 12 paramount chiefs, now each one for represents the 12 districts. Yeah. So now we don't get 14. So now that's where the history come back of the paramount chief being member of parliament. Then at that time, Sierra Leone been divided into the protectorate and the colony. Right. We get colony where na Freetown or Western region, now we end the boundary na Songo under Koya chiefdom. So colony na Freetown, then the rest, some may call upline or protectorate. Why protectorate? Because protected, they were protected people. They were ruled under the chiefs. Then they appoint 1 European. And the colony being get 14 representatives. Right? And the rural area, we get notable names then. We now they call now Western Rural. We get T.S. Johnson, a prominent lawyer. When I mean they represent Kisi. We get Wallace Johnson, we mean they represent Wilberforce. We get the Mami neighbor, J.C. O'Crowder, we mean they represent Waterloo. In fame, they say that the man that they will force the colonialists them for let them give Omole license. Because Omole was prohibited. Then we get Gideon Dixon Thomas from Mountain Rural. We now New York and Aljo King from British Korea. So these were the people. And then for the protectorate, now that time we get the first Madam Ella Koblo Gulama. We follow a man in footstep when a Chief Julius Gulama. And then among the other chiefs, then we get Chief Yumkela, Chief Fangawa, Chief Sebura Kamal, and other notable figures then will be going like AJ Demby, Paul Wright, D.L. Sumner, and all. So you see now, 1958, now they make Dr. Magai the chief minister. We're different from the present chief minister we get. Because that chief minister they are in preparation for be the prime minister government. Now, how did the speaker come? The first speaker of parliament Now be Justice Bioku Betts. And the law been say, and that law they say today, say for appoint the speaker, a member of parliament, because at the time, Justice Bioku Betts had been vice president for the Legislative Council. And he forget 2/3 majority. So later on, Parliament decides the speaker for come up from the judiciary. So after Justice Bioku Betts, we Boston. At that time, it was Henry Josiah Lightfoot Boston, who later on became a string of like COE Cole, Justice Kutubu. So legislature, let it be neutral because the speaker get a particular position there where na inge for do the balancing act. But alas, when it changed the dynamics of the speaker will come under an escroma now, they say, no, go back to the system where then they appoint speaker from among the members of parliament. That is when we get SBB Dumbuya, when I take over from Abel Strong. Then Abbas Bundu, Dr. Abbas Bundu, the current speaker, he did not be member of parliament, so he qualified, although they not been voted in. So that's the history of the speaker in parliament. So now a lot of things will happen, and today we want a speaker and a very important person, because later on we don't discuss that the role of the speaker and how in responsibility gets set and governance now in country, because the speaker the president, the first gentleman, the vice man, then the speaker, the third gentleman. So now very important position. And the way this man come on office, beaucoup draw been there and rumors been there. So we want to know why that they happen. So now we start now. Black TV Online, we talk about waiting at the reason. Legal man go start analyzing waiting come from that video there.
Not a secret again, say the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu, don't finally give up and resign as Speaker of the Salon Parliament. And this information come to the public inside one press release from State House. We say the President, Julius Maadabiu, don't accept the resignation letter of the Speaker of Parliament. Officially, State House reports say that on medical grounds, the Speaker, we don't hold almost 8 years, they resign as way for retire and go rest. But the big question at the lip of plenty people now, if that's not the real reason we make the speaker give up in position, same way plenty people don't expect him say if we left in position as the number 3 man at the country in governance. First of all, Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu first be Speaker of Parliament after the 2018 election, and he been served in complete term of 5 years, although plenty drama been played at the Salon Parliament during in term from the opposition and the ruling bench them. The Speaker of Parliament been fortunate for get second chance for be Speaker again, although some rumor them been the past say some SLPP faction or been one time for be Speaker again. Other rumor them back been say the speaker been get only 2 to 2.5 years for serve inside in second term as speaker before he go resign, but that not been confirmed and same way so it not been clear as to the reason why. So for see the speaker pack in bag and left office, same way people not been expect this way go make plenty people believe say more day to this issue than waiting State House don't say. You remember say this bientem, the Clerk of Parliament parentarily serve sack letter them to over 100 Parliament workman them, where this will make them lost their job na Parliament. During this term, the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu, pulled aid from this issue as he said it not been order for make the Clerk of Parliament sack them workman them here. In fact, he said the Clerk of Parliament not been informed about this decision. This been bring chamot na Parliament more so na the ruling bench as people notice say one word not in a Parliament leadership and self the ruling SLPP leadership with the Speaker of Parliament supposed for lead. So this been make some SLPP MP them not glad with the Speaker of Parliament because them consider them as one we don't put them party and shame and self sell them bad na public. And in order to say it, we one member of Parliament from the opposition, Honorable Muhammad Bangura, accused the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu, say the Speaker pulled a name from the Salone ECOWAS delegation list. This come although according to some source them, the President Julius Maada Bio been want for make Honorable Muhammad Bangura a name deep on the Salone ECOWAS Parliament list. According to some source them, this make the president not been glad with the Speaker of Parliament and self some SLPP MP them believe say the Speaker look challenge the president in decision for make Honorable Muhammad Bangura a name day inside the ECOWAS Parliament list. After all this, according to reliable source them, the President Julius Maada Bio called SLPP MP them na State House inside one meeting Tuesday, April 15. And just after this meeting, the public see press release from State House say the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu, don't resign for retire on medical grounds. Now, what will be the next big step of the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu, as he don't resign and this resignation will take effect by April 30, and that could be the person we most qualify for replace the Speaker. That the two big question them for the next days them for come. For Salone Parliament Eye on Blah TV Online, Mina Abdullah Blah.
Well, yes, family, and I don't hear this video. And I don't listen to that. So now, let's hand over to we legal man, because Parliament now they make law. And we get certain questions who are asked and how this thing take place. What one? Because if they resign on health grounds, it look like saying a 2 weeks notice. Because if we're effective introduction, now handing over to my big brother and my legal man there, let him ask the question there, and he will ask me something them in terms of governance and parliament. Explain to you now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mengot. Okay, there we go. Again, ladies and gentlemen, for una, we they claim say una love Salone, but una basis for love Salone are through the lens of political party affiliation or sympathy. Well, I go get for ask Mr. Mengot some questions for just some of which I know the answers to, but coming in to discuss them, but some of which una need for know, and some of which una for just purposes of enlightenment. Now, we see where the speaker, we know say there was this big rancor or uproar or so bad publicity to the clerk of clerk of parliament for doing what you would call engaging in deceptive practices, which in and of itself impugn in character to be unfit to be a clerk of parliament. And when I know the fact here, the fact where that in West they on payroll for about 2 years collecting salary when West not even in the country, and she was not even employed by parliament, but she was being paid on a monthly basis. So when we talk say money no day for the country, things are hard, then keep the raise taxes. These are some of the reasons why, because you get 2-3 greedy people then who want for grab everything that should go to the general revenue of the country for make life better for everybody. Because the fact remains, as I always contend, 99% of them were local. Then with brothers and sisters, how they go into politics. Now for their own self-aggrandizement, not to for make life better or improve the country. It's clear, the evidence is abundant, that they see politics as the quickest way for get rich or for become financially comfortable. And some of the means by which then they do this, now for begin placate all them boku degree where they no go get now different universities. In fact, I'm saying that not as a personal attack on the current HCC commissioner. Everybody knows, say, Mr. Ben Kelfala is a very smart young man. In fact, at one point, he was being looked upon as one of the young leaders then for the future. But Mr. Ben Kelfala has been pursuing law degrees after law degree after law degrees, masters here, masters there, masters at Harvard, master at this. But the masters then when you get, we not see what in the master's degree had to do for we. You keep accumulating master's degree in law, master's degree in law. What good are these degrees if they are unproductive, if they are not of any use to the goodness or the good of the country? So these are some of the things we get for the ask ourselves. A lot of diplomas on the wall. Yeah, it can create the appearance of being extraordinarily well educated. But there is some degree of deception in that, because the one degree from any university is sufficient enough for one for ably participate in any government affair. You're not going to forget 10, 15 degrees. People who attain 10 degrees in numbers are people who believe in academia, not politics. These are people who want to do research. A man who pursue more than one PhD in goal not to be a member of parliament or president or vice president. A man who pursue more than one PhD must get a mindset in academia for do research, for do something along that line there. But we don't see, say, some of our brothers and sisters then don't find out for say politics is the quickest way of getting rich. And when they get rich, they're so impatient, they're not even waiting time for done before they begin placate or display their ill-gotten wealth, where they don't get by building big houses, buying flashy cars, and doing so many other things. So now, in this respect, we don't see who's had and talk, but the speaker raise an alarm of the clerk, employing people and sacking people inappropriately or improperly. So obviously, it goes without saying that there has been a friction or tension between the speaker and the clerk. I, for one, and I've been asking that people come on the show and take a contrary position. The speaker was the clerk was appointed by the president. If, in fact, that's how it was done, the procedure was wrong. The president should have nothing to do with the appointment, not even a dog catcher, the parliament, not even a security guard. Otherwise, it demolish the concept of separation of powers. Because if the president is going to appoint the clerk of parliament, then indirectly the clerk of parliament becomes the president inside man for clear information on what's going on in parliament, when he should have no privy to what's going on there. The speaker of the house is the main person way for run parliament, and any kind of appointment for come within whatever rules and regulations have been set to run parliament. So again, procedurally, with the hurt country, what will give so much power to a president? And this has nothing to do with President Bill, because the law was written before he even came to power. But so again, going back to Bukmandem, Then bookman, we sometimes Mr. Kutubu can say the land book pass even the angels them, then sit down because of all them boku certificate, but when you begin to analyze what they do, it's pure nonsense. Okay, so that's one. Now we'll get a situation where the speaker, there's great suspicion that the clerk of parliament indirectly is trying to unseat the speaker of the house. So ask yourself the question, is that the way we want to run the country? Is that the way, do we want a president who will get power over parliament, who will get power over the judiciary? And if that's what we want, then what's the point in the separation of power, or the concept of separation of power? Why would not just say abolish parliament, abolish the court, just say, hey, we'll go appoint a president or we'll go elect a president, and then go be the judge, and go be the legislator, and go be everything. So let us not make a mockery of the system. We'll get in a paper, what we'll call a constitution. We'll say we'll get a judiciary that cannot do anything, or that only does what the government tells them. And of course, we see a recent example where when it comes to dealing with Kush, the vice president openly saying go give directives, not for grant people in bail, not for do this, not for do that. Now, that's lawlessness. I mean, you just get to call it what it is. That is as lawless on the part of the vice president as the people in what they deal in Kush and use Kush. Because the laws should be obeyed. How can we have a vice president who gives directives to the judiciary, not for grant bail? And how for deal with people if they are arrested under any circumstance? So is that the country we want? Is that how we want to run the country? Or do we want, because we, the executive, let them forbid the number one respecters of the law. When laws are passed, they are made to be obeyed. Now the government for set the example of how for obey laws, then the rest of we go follow. But when government pass laws, then they by implication and by the action, give the distinct impression, say, but that law they will pass not for we or not for one of the ordinary nobodies, not for we the people. We can do anything we want. We can call a judge, we can pick a phone and tell and say, no, do this, not do that. And that judge they get for listen to we for protecting job. Is that the country we're really trying to build? Is that what we want? Does it matter if you're APC or SAPP? I keep saying these two political parties have not had very good history with respect to running the country for the past 60 some years. They just don't. Because most of what they do, not to waiting good for the country, now waiting good for themselves individually. But it's clear, the evidence is abundant. What is good for them is detrimental to the interests of the country. So we with the supporting people here, we're going to begin to take a different look. And we keep saying, don't support somebody because they belong to the same tribe. Don't support somebody because they go to the same high school. Don't support somebody because they grow up in the same neighborhood. And on and on and on and on. Support somebody because you think they get the requisite ability and potential for run the country in an efficient way for make lives easy for everybody. Okay, and that's the only way this will country, where we all the faithful from different directions go be able to see the light of day. So now the speaker is being forced out by implication. So now we get Mr. Mengot who will show, and then we'll get issues that we want to raise, that the speaker submit in resignation to the president. Well, procedure-wise or process-wise, let me not say procedure-wise, because procedure-wise that may be the case. But it's a badly written law. The speaker should not be submitting a resignation to the president. This is where you have this anomaly, where they create problem and giving the president power that he shouldn't have just because of the separation of the principle of separation of powers. Okay, so now the speaker in submitting resignation. So we try to analyze whether in fact the Constitution spell out steps and procedures in when the office of the speakership becomes vacant. How do they go about that? From our understanding, we get the feeling say that should be governed by the Parliamentary Act of 2023, and that the speaker should have submitted a resignation not to the president, but to the Parliamentary Commission. Now we call upon the big guns, Sierra Leone, because they claim that we get a lot of heavy hitters. We know the law very well. So please call in or challenge we so we can invite you for can't tell we say the process is the correct procedure. Because we want to enlighten the people. So we're not just try to condemn. But we think say that's not the right process. The speaker in resignation should not have been submitted to the president. It should have gone to the Parliamentary Commission. Okay? And so now, if we're wrong, please tell us. Because if the speaker, the subject, or the forward in resignation, because why should the resignation of the speaker come through a press release from the executive and with the talk about separation of powers? Why did it come through the press release of Parliament itself? So these are some of the things where they hold we back. So, and I'm not convinced that we don't know any better. We're just so short-sighted and just not care about what is good for the country. Because if we care, we'll go right then laws that are better than that. And we will get competent, able people where go the right then laws there for make sure say we know then take a lot of stuff into account. So we want to address that. So I'm going back to my colleague, Mr. Mengot. He will address some of the issues there for we. It can start anywhere you want, from the Parliamentary Commission or the Parliamentary Act of 2023, whichever way direction you want to go. But we need for just enlighten. And this is all in the interest of the country, because I tell you, as long as one party kind of power, then they look strictly at how to get advantage and stay in power indefinite. First of all, it's not healthy for the country. It is not in the best interest of Sierra Leone for any one political party to get such dominance that we should have difficulty getting them out of power. It is healthy for the country when accountability becomes the main criterion by which we judge the government. And how is that accountability? When it's election time, if you didn't perform, then the people should be free, because we have a government by the people. The people should be free to cast their vote, and we should respect the outcome of an election. That's good for everybody. Not necessarily for APC, for SLPP, but as long as we begin to say when one particular power, or every law with them pass, well, when there's consequences, then this will see. Every law with them pass. Now, how for staying the power and writing corrupt laws them, then when things not go their way, then the inheritor of them bad then laws, then they begin use them otherwise. You see? So we need for really show more love for the country and embrace the rule of law as being the guiding principle by which we can function. Otherwise, we should not expect much coming out of this. We're going to complain all as much as we want. We are not going to go anywhere. So, Mr. Mengot, let me pass it over to you. So let me just ask you, based on the comment you may just make, for address, please, if you may, the Parliamentary Commission and the resignation of the Speaker, and to whom should his resignation have been submitted. So, back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Shillong. First of all, let me make one thing clear. So the way you can put it all the way, let people know. This whole thing starts with the talk about governance, with the talk about politics, with the talk about parliament. Right? Now, president, now they appoint the clerk. It is not illegal. Now,
Correct.
how the Constitution say. Now, that the
Correct.
Constitution say. Right?
Correct.
Which, now, a flaw in the Constitution. So now, all the one and all they talk. So for analyze this point, let's go back to the Constitution. Because for explain Constitution, now like the primary legislation, now the number one legislation in the country. Now you get all the basis of the laws there. Then you get what you call secondary legislation to reflect the macro part of the Constitution. So this thing will happen. So one day happen at Salon because we know one day see a speaker resign while he dey in office. Then at the first point. And when you look at the time where he resigned, according to the two we look at, he resigned. We were told that by the office of the president, say he resigned on health grounds. I have no doubt about that. But even if he resigned on health grounds, the time too short because the Constitution not make provision in the event there's a resignation of the spine. In the Constitution say it talks and then not to appointment, the speaker is elected by parliamentaries. I mean, you don't get the history. Now, you can elect a speaker even if a current member or ex-member. That's how they change the Constitution. Because the current speaker was not a current member of parliament been there during the election, but not that they want to talk about. Members from among the ranks, 9 them for appoint, but now they don't say you can appoint somebody as long as you don't serve 2 terms in the parliament. So that's how SBB Dumbuya, where they remove Justice Abel Strong, right? And in the same way, Abbas Bundu be speaker. But the Constitution still retains say, then he also appoint somebody where from the judicial, a judge of the Court of Appeal, or a Supreme Court judge. When that will be start with. And for a point time, you can forget that 2/3 majority. So now, where they look now, we get in Parliament an act of Parliament we call the Parliamentary Act. If family them remember, that act the enemy they try for pass during the last election to members of Parliament. When they mean they talk about their pension. Where then they been caused small draw. But what's happening? The act, the first part of the Parliamentary Act, it talk about administration of Parliament. Then just speaker entitlement will resign. We'll go talk about that later. But waiting at this Parliamentary Commission, waiting if we do. The last one at 2023, the Commission now provide for leadership, governance structure of Parliament, now provide for the establishment of parliamentary service, and then they talk for the benefit of Parliament. The procedure for do based on the guidance, the Speaker should have tendered his resignation to the Clerk of Parliament, who is the head of administration and is also the Secretary of the Parliamentary Commission. So other than the people that are waiting at the Parliamentary Commission, the Speaker, now the head of the Commission. Then you get the Deputy Speaker, now the Speaker and Chairman, then the Deputy Speaker, now the Deputy Chairman, then leaders of all, now 2 no more get. The last Parliament will get 4. We will get C4C, we will get NGC. Then the governing party chief whip. Who are the chief whip? Now the man responsible for discipline of MPs in a young party. When I go rally them, wait there for votes. All incident. Then you get the opposition chief whip. Then you get the president of the female caucus. Then a representative of the members of Parliament who have been elected as candidate, then an ordinary member. If they're like that last election, a previous government will say, now minister without portfolio. You know, so we get minister without portfolio. That's similar thing. So you get ordinary member in the parliament, when then they represent the rank and file. They get selected by members of parliament based on the numerical strength of the political party in parliament. Okay, what does that mean? If we take the present parliament, SLPP get 81 members. APC get about 40 something. So in other words, if now 6 members, it obvious say, panel 6 members there, SLPP go get 4, APC go get 2. Yes? Then also the chairman of the paramount chiefs in parliament, because they said in the votes there, first now been 12, we've been getting now on our function day. Then the clerk of parliament, he go be the secretary and the principal advisor to the commission. Now you see, since he's the principal advisor to the commission, and we get this clerk now where we don't know, because they may say, the present speaker been say he stand down while they do investigation. We also get ACC where they say when they investigate. Nobody not tell me waiting at the position of the clerk, but he's been in position, is been taken by the deputy clerk. So the speaker should have submitted in resignation, and that letter they go to all them people and they were don't call sitting in that commission day. Then once the commission would deliberate, and when they deliberate, now the assistant chairman, when the deputy speaker, now go chair that meeting day for accept the speaker in resignation, then they will get a session in parliament where the speaker will tell the nation why he resigned. If not for health grounds, yes, as president, as state house say that fine. Or if not something where we know it, but not prejudge the situation, because the speaker will get for imparting statement where it deliver to the new speaker where they elect now by 2/3 majority. So that is the procedure.
All right. Okay. Now, I just get some questions and comments, because now they say the clerk, for example, I know say the speaker and the primary issue in this discussion, but every now and then we touch on certain other things. The clerk, for example, stepped down. That is a very vague statement or phrase. What do they mean by that? When they say step down, is it receiving pay? Or is this in suspension? So what is stepping down? What does stepping down mean? And so then I think in the let me read a comment, please, just in case before I resume it. Good day, VOS. I would like you to comment on the present Sierra Leone Bar Association pending chairperson election. We will be more than happy to, especially Mr. Shillon, to give a bird's eye view on the importance of the bar. Yes, well, I'll be more than happy to do that. But yes, so now does the speaker, the clerk, when they say step down, because they should strive for then for the issue, a clearly defined phrases and statements for make we understand what's in the go on. Because not we all, a lot of we not learn book like them book man they with the wrong country so badly. You know, so we just make it simple for the rest of we. In English we will say for the rest of us. But so now when we say the speaker stepped down, what does that mean? Is he in suspension? Did he voluntarily just step aside? Is he being paid?
You mean the speaker?
And not the speaker, I'm sorry, the clerk. I'm sorry, thanks, Mr. Mengot. The clerk. Yeah. So then, okay, we see what we talk about, the procedural, the people that will put the constitution together, you see how they were not clear in the thought process. Now we get a situation, and this is all happening for the good. We get a situation where the person who is supposed to be the head of the Parliamentary Commission or the chief administrator, when at the clerk, he himself is embroiled in some kind of a malpractice of some sort. Okay, so that should teach us a lesson, as maybe the clerk should not be the head of such, even though the clerk is supposedly the chief administrator in Parliament. But like I say, I think it defies the principle of separation of powers that the president then go appoint the clerk. And now we get a situation where then they say the clerk, only the president can fire him. Well, again, is that good for the country? Should the president have anything to do with the impropriety of the clerk? Should he have any say so? Or should it just be none of his business? And these laws, I think we're APC right now, not your SLPP right now. But we go back, because we get people and then we get people and when they say, oh, this is not a great lawyer, this or that. But these guys are doing a great disservice to the country. You know, the one be APC standard bearers them as well as the SLPP. We have to take things seriously. We have to be very serious about how we want to run the country. So I'm just saying, somebody needs to tell us, is the clerk receiving pay? If not, okay, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
For put in perspective, I would say we get a parliamentary crisis now. Why? Okay. Because I can't explain waiting at the role of the clerk in this relevance, and also telling her waiting at the role of the speaker. Because right now, we have a situation where the clerk, as they say, is been asked to step aside, but that has not been defined.
And who asked him to step aside? Is it the speaker who asked him to step aside?
Well, the speaker now asked him for step aside as chairman, because he is the chair. Because the Parliamentary Service Commission been they investigate. Because members say, now they're responsible for things like appointment, salaries, and remuneration of members of Parliament and the staff. So if there's something where border on recruitment, impropriety, or pay thing, now the chairman ain't for take the decision. But the controversy in removing the clerk from office, he cannot be removed by the chairman or Parliament because he was appointed by the president. That's where the crisis is. But now, who will get the problem? They say, let's continue. They say, in the case of in any case, a new commission shall be constituted in not later than 2 weeks from the election of a new speaker. So it means if we can't get a new speaker election, then get for constitute another new commission.
Which is ridiculous.
Waiting at the clerking role. This is of the Parliamentary Act 2023. So now the most recent. So Section 3, it says the clerk of Parliament as secretary to the commission and in a secretary and principal advisor to the chairman. So he's the advisor to the chairman and secretary to the commission. You can see then he's also clerk of. So you can see he look like that man na Medusa head he get boku snake na head because of the role. Okay, waiting a role. Now in the pre of the commission and its committees, because the commission get committees. So that's why we write for say, now in them for inform about the speaker resignation, we go summon a meeting for explain to the members them why the speaker they resign. Now you also get for keep records of proceedings and minutes of the meeting of the commission, right? Now they communicate decision of the commission for the execution of the management board. You see, so when the commission meets, now for now convey that information to members of parliament. Say, well, the commission don't accept the speaker resignation. We will get a day where we will debate that. When the speaker said we'll get chance for talk. So now that's now the role of the
clerk.
We have this problem. Now, let me look for waiting at the speaker in your role. The speaker gets a lot of responsibility. right? Because apart from being speaker, is also chairing a lot of committees in Parliament, right? Like for the appointment committee, yeah. The chairman and members shall hold office with elected. So then go there, then come out. So this is the thing now. The speaker now, inside get boku thing the way they do. He had a lot of committees them. He also, 9 are the number 3 man. And also he gets a role in deciding Uda and Uda for call when they do debate. You can see people, remember them can say, we don't catch the speaker eyes. You know, because and they decide we get another tradition where they pull from England, where they get a division bell. Now, if they don't discuss something, then they not agree and they put them to vote. That's now another thing where now we constitution they agree, say aye, the ayes that yes, to the contrary, no decibels. They go say the ayes have it. So the speaker get a of the yes or no for determine. But if not serious issue, where members then get for vote, right? In the salon now, when they vote, we for don't get modern system where people like can vote electronically. But then they vote by standing up. And that with constitution, you get 77K, where they can accuse an MP for anti-party activity. Where if he the party whip, then they can say, and if you lost your membership of the party, it means you lose your membership of Parliament. And not only party appoint you, and now even worse, we'll get party list under proportional representation. Where if we do any constitutional review, we'll get for think about. So that left and so then because this is a two-way exchange. Let them call in and ask for clarification or questions on this issue.
Okay. Now, first, let me remind the listeners and the audience that the lines are open if they have any.
Okay, then before
questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
The speaker, 9 in role now. Let's talk about the speaker in role before we go. So, number 1, 9 responsible for the welfare of the members and staff of Parliament. 9 are the number 1 man for this strategic direction of the commission. 9 the determinant. 9 also they manage relationship with other parliaments. What they mean other parliament? Sierra Leone is a member of the Common Cabinet, be head of the Africa chapter. So with a link and get parliamentary procedures. So also dealing with chambers matter and procedure. But then it chair some prominent committee when they count Usaida Mohamed Bangura and case come. Because he's the chairman of the House Committee. The House Committee now is responsible for everything for do with the management and administration of Parliament. He's also chairman of the Committee of Absenteeism. What does that mean? Because with constitutions say you go lose your seat without reasonable excuse. So if the Parliament for take that decision day, then get a committee where go look into it. When the speaker the chair that committee. He's also the chairman of the Standing Order Committee. Waiting at the Standing Order Committee. The Standing Order Committee now they decide waiting in the debates in the Parliament, the order of government business, the order of debate. So even if the opposition can debate, the speaker and the committee, the majority members, and then they decide the standing orders, the way they go to Parliament, where then they discuss but issues. We also get a committee where the speaker, the chair, when at the public petition committee. What in that committee they mean? If you get anything where they burn an issue, like me now, like some of the thing the way they have
Mr. Mengot, can I have you to hold your thoughts? Please don't forget. Just hold your thoughts. Let me take a call. Then we'll revert to you. Please. Okay?
Okay, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sir. Hold your thoughts. I don't want you to lose it. So, hello, caller. What's side you call from?
Okay. Okay, then viewers, Sister Umaru the call.
Hey, Umaru. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Mr. Mengo talks until we just jog my mind. I decided to call. He talked about electronics voting. You see, one of the way it creates a lot of problem our parliamentary system that is set up. Our procedures can go on everything very difficult. Now, one thing we go take because I know I will take the former because me they take an as former since he don't resign. The former
Speaker.
How I can call himself.
Speaker.
Yeah. Mr. Abbas.
The Speaker.
Look at the speaker now. I just a joke so for member.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. That's what.
You see, the Speaker of the House, he try for all the balance, but the whole problem about him being, he get an illegitimate issue, whether a legitimate Speaker of the House or not. In election, we get a lot of draw. You know, I be feel say before not even save face, and even after the first term of Madabio, he resign, he go sit down quiet. For goodness sake, that man don't take over 50 years in politics. So I don't know what him be the keeper around a parliament. You know, in as much as he try for keep the balance, but if we get a legitimate issue, we make people not be the CEO work. But he try actually for all the balance, most of the things that really happen. You know, because we see later part, we see some genuine discussions. Now, we can again to resign one. You see, all later we get opportunity at that country for set record straight. But at the process, we spoil everything. Just like what Mr. Mengo talk. Why that man go resign? He submit a resignation letter to the president when a different body of government. You know, so this one alone, what it don't do, it don't set another constitutional problem in that country where it could be a bad precedent. You know, when parliamentary and elect you in a parliament, then you left the parliament, you will go to the executive. This don't show how people can consider, how people just feel say the executive is everything in that country. You know, so it'd be very difficult for who keep things at place, or it's very difficult for let people follow procedures anyway. The way they at the aim of affairs, no say certain thing and then so if be or they know they just ignore the reality. Yeah. So like I mean they say for the beginning, Mr. Mengo something about the voting system. Then they alone a fraud. You know, because just imagine if you the vote on issue, not to electronics vote, then you guess a lot of people will say nay, then you know and they say yea, then they say yea have it, or the nay have it. Well, you know, even get time for count how many people they say nay or how many people they say yea. So again, we come again into reforms and we come again into finance of the parliament. That parliament are one of the institutional countries where it don't get a lot of money in terms of finance. Why they not go modernize the system? They don't get a lot of money for goodness with the six parliament around the world. Fees a salon for move, you know. And this issue for elect another parliament, I don't want to let people like no end up for put up and draw tomorrow can't pa ala Salomon business they don't pa ala, you know, because they don't politicize the whole nation business. And I feel say, you know, if I don't be so them, if I don't do it that peaceful like any normal country, they resign and procedure within the parliamentary system. not the system that they try to bring the executive or can influence the system of parliament. You know, it really frustrating for we in that country. All the time we need to set record straight. You know, I feel saying one of the trouble things that I always alone for concentrate on. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omar. You always can make some meaningful suggestions, and we thank you for calling. Let's go back to Mr. Mengot because he was in the middle of making a point when I interrupt him. Oh, Mr. Mengot, before you start again, no, hold a second. Let me just take one more call, and then please just hold your thoughts together. Hello, caller. Who's that you call from? Welcome.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much, Mr. Shilon and Mr. Mengot. Me, Ahmed, I call from UK.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Yes, thank you. You know, Mr. I often say thanks to una they analyze so many issues, then parliamentary issues where Mr. Mengot they come and explain and help because on your side and they always go into the law and which actually be the right thing to be done. But you know, the one the way they in the aim of affairs, they follow suit. We all know how Abbas will come as a speaker. We all know. And we all know good than Abbas Bundu. You know ever credible. We see that the Kabani regime, we will be young, as young boys then, now be boys then going to school. We don't big now graduates, don't read much about Abbas Bundu. We see the problems we create, we make it for cancer and a lot on for some time. But we Mother Bill come after because it all operates through the NPRC time, you get for call them back. The facts now is this government, Mother Bill particularly, they work with criminals then. Now people remember we don't like the country, where we don't do bad. We be say for making them feel that we able to manipulate them, for making them stand for way for getting way that they work with. And unless and until we get sense and say out, now me go continue we show with this today. Shilon, we see what's happening at the election. We see how this Abbas will come as speaker. We know forever be. And before this time, more than chief this election, then they say may rule 2 years, and then this guy Tunis from ECOWAS can't continue. Then we get that discrepancy and the way they talk within themselves at the party. We all know Tunis back another one. We see how he performed at the ECOWAS parliament, where he lie and people they kill people them. He talk publicly at the ECOWAS parliament, which not be. You know, these guys are all corrupt. You know, not only with this, they don't follow the law. They don't work for the people of Sierra Leone. We can always agree. What you know, they talk about all the laws of the whole Sierra Leone or the constitution. Yeah, we are right. Constitution not too perfect, but when it gets people away credible, we want help them people them, then they put their own greediness aside. Believe me, really go into something for impose them. Not to say American a constitution is perfect, but because then they work for the people. If he says Joe Biden could just use virtual power no more for do what for do no more against the people, then no. But we are the opposite. We are the opposite. Then they use the constitution for making them use their lawyer against the people and make them do the wrong thing. When I don't analyze so many things that will go wrong in that parliament today. We look at a clerk of parliament today, nobody know anybody in case again, nobody know finance, no this, we will thief money. And that's why it not pass most of them, then deal there. Then back up with the opposition, back up with Kanye. We see the last parliament, this 5th parliament. The 5th parliament, we see their behavior. Today, get people like Kamasilami, they stand behind Madabio because of their own interest. You see like Kanye, they will see how you end up. You see people, you know, you see the corrupt politicians them. You get the Alpha Khan there, where then a lie no more than Sabi lie. They know they work for the people them. Now they all put wish out with this today. They are locals alone day. Lights no day. Water no day. These are the worst ever. Even the terror been there at the war. We will be young with small boys there, but we know we get sense now. We want to analyze things. We don't begin now able to read from that thing now up to this point. But believe in me, passports should not want to talk the truth. These are the worst time this is Sierra Leone. And I tell you now, these are the worst government. Where me get sense. Where me don't read, even before checking test, Mark, you can read that. This I will interpret things. But these are the worst time ever in Sierra Leone. And in fact, they spoil the laws them, then turn over things them, and then we go to Usa with this today. Now the West Africa region now we are the lowest in anything. Imagine that. Well, thank you. Now, unfortunately, thanks, Mr. Shilon and Mr. Bekos. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for calling and taking up the time for listening. You know, we always appreciate your contribution and your calls them. Thanks a lot. Mr. Mengot, back to you, sir.
Yeah. Well, before I go there, viewers, as a responsible broadcaster, we not go subscribe to the idea for calling people criminals without substantial evidence. As somebody will subscribe to the idea. Yeah. So now, but opinion, now my opinion, but me not go with that. But in continuing with the speaker responsibility, I've been talk about the Public Petition Commission Committee. Beaucoup people they don't know but that Public Petition Committee. The reason why they make and the origin are from the UK. Then they use them a lot. If there is an issue which affect people, okay, let business. Any Sierra Leonean as an individual or a CSO can get people them with signatures and put a petition to Parliament for let Parliament call an urgent session, call the one they were responsible for talk about that issue there, that burning issue. So that makes sure they get this Public Petition Committee. But we know one day use them. Because people don't understand. Public is concerned with. So that committee there again, now the chairman, now the speaker. Then now you get the one when at the controversial one, when at the committee of selection. That committee of selection, they select members of parliament, now the various committees then, like the committee then way, now the scrutiny committee, because each ministry and department and agency, they under one committee. Like for instance now, this toll gate, the Committee of Works and Assets, now they look into it. So now through that, then they select members of that committee, then they. And the speaker, now chairman of that selection committee, they. And then they select members in that committee by the parliamentary strength of the two parties. Then. So we get a situation now where in the current parliament, the SLPP party go always get majority members in all the committees then, because they get majority seats. Right. And all people where they go represent with government or parliament externally. Like you get people where they represent with now the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. You get people where they represent with now the ECOWAS Parliament. You get people where they represent with now the AU. Then of course the one for do with Brussels. So now that makes so that video clip where we listen to, where Mohamed Bangura accused the speaker of removing a name from ECOWAS Parliament, where they may not choose them, the tell where APC not been there. These are all the vexatious issue where the speaker gets embroiled in. Then finally, the speaker, he go deal with any matters where of parity and standing orders of the clerk. If we remember, when they talk about Section 38 and Section 38A for proportional representation, first they want to amend the Elections Act, which they did amend, and then they review now. And they want to make sure say they include that proportional representation in the Elections Act. But the speaker been say no, he not go do that, and he not go violate the Constitution. But at the same time, Section 38A, proportional representation already exists, provided the president, which that we see. We've been getting this PRT and we'll look at review, because we'll get two systems then still for election. First past the post and proportional representation. So anybody will come, he go able to manipulate them as head of suit in purpose. So let's stop there until you go ask more questions. Then at least after this, we'll go another audio where the speaker been get for apologize. They will now analyze in terms of office key issues that will come up in future. So I don't know if you get anything to say.
Well, there are some issues that I just want to bring up since we did do analysis and touching on the flaws of the current system. For example, voice vote or voice voting. We don't say they take place now a lot of parliaments, but these are mostly countries where they have built, they've spent decades of building political institutions where the institutions are such that there is some degree of integrity within the system. But we don't spend decades destroying the system and diluting the effectiveness of the institutions then what we inherit. So, in my humble opinion, voice voting, to me, should not be in any way, shape, or form something for even put into a procedure. Like you say, we get what you call modernization now, then can do electronic voting. Why not do that? Why just allow, because this is a deliberate loophole in the system, because then give this broad discretionary power to the speaker for just arbitrarily decide, say, the nays have it or the yeas have it, without actually counting. So this is a deliberate act because it just gives this overreaching power to the speaker. But if we look at the systems around the world, we should come up with even better system than what America has, what Canada has, what even England has, because we see the flaws in their own system. All we get for do, we not even get for strain we self. If we are committed to the cause, we come up with some well-balanced system who will serve the interests of the country. And like I said earlier, it is not in the best interest of any country, for one party to be overly dominant over other political parties in the country. And now of late, what we've seen, because Mr. Mengo just make mention of the proportional representation, this section 38A, what are we talking about? We are talking about a situation where we have two laws, and then we give the president discretion as he feels for inject by dictating to the Electoral Commission the involvement or the inclusion of proportional representation, which, as we can see, this past election, let me ask everybody, we've always had a multi-party system. We've had situations where you have 14, 15 political parties then. And somehow it has created a wider base and more balanced process where the smaller parties then have been able to be the major power brokers then. Now, for the first time, as far as I know, I stand corrected by Mr. Mengot, because of the introduction of the proportional representation, there are no small party membership in parliament. Before we get C4C, we'll get NGCE and NGC membership, None of that exists now. After this 2023 election, it's only APC and SAPP. Again, I keep asking the question, is that what we want? We now think, say, the death of the smaller political parties then could come back for hurt the country? Why are we forcing people then to belong to the two parties here where there are many people who do not even believe in their ideology? These are two parties then with terrible records of having run the country aground. They've not done that much for the party, and they both have governed the country periodically. So why are we just going through the same process instead of trying for? So what would they talk about this tripartite agreement? These are some of my concerns, because it's clear APC is allowing itself to be manipulated, and they are not looking at what is in the best interest of Sierra Leone. And as long as that they go on with the two-party them for share the spoil, there isn't much hope for the country. And I don't think, say, the party in power for look at what is advantageous to SAPP to the detriment of the country. I mean, now we see, say, things are getting worse. Now we see this thing about increase in licenses and all of that. And this fact, that's another area Mr. Mengot and I will talk about. So why are we embarked on this? And this will get a situation where then they increase, then they raise taxes per automobile license, per inspection license, and this, all of that is unconstitutional, because these are just arbitrary acts on the part of the executive without the involvement of Parliament, where Parliament is clear that them for do such legislation before such increases take place. But Mr. Bengot will address that clearer than I am. So, again, my plea to we all, SAPP, APC, please show some love for this country. Try to understand that these two parties are not good for the country. And if you leaders not to talk about what's good for Sierra Leone, then they know what running the country. Any party who want just think say now what's advantageous for the party, now then they ain't good for Sierra Leone. Well, show me the evidence. So somebody just sending a thing says Sori Sengbe Mara has the prerogative, potential, and liability, or an ability, to manage the Bar Association. But thank you. I'm going to address that at some point. So let me just take a caller, and then I will move on. Hello, caller. What side you call from?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sharon and Mr. Maggot. I'm calling from the Washington, D.C. area, a concerned citizen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, concerned citizen. Go ahead.
Indeed. Hopefully you guys can, hopefully you're hearing me clearly.
Very clearly. Very clearly.
Very well. Very well. Well, I have a question for Una, and I believe that the social media space Una too will be one of the best to ask this question. I know it's slightly out of the topic Una the talk right now, but I will expand on it as time goes on. My question I want for ask Una, based on you being a lawyer and Mr. Maggot with his understanding of Sierra Leone Constitution and Parliamentary system and how that works. Anyway, my question that I try to ask is it legal for the Sierra Leone government, if you have a right government? I'm talking here more of a policy, economic policy aspect. Is it legal to tax the diaspora, like say taxing the diaspora $25 a month? Is that a constitutional within the framework of the Constitution?
Okay, is that the question?
Yeah, that is my question, and I go want to expand more of that. Why I ask you this question?
Okay. Mr. Mengat will be a better person to answer that, but the little I know with respect to taxes and taxation, that comes from the inherent power of Parliament. To my knowledge, only Parliament can legislate taxes or taxation, and the executive doesn't have the power to override Parliament in that respect. But having said that, the expert on that will be Mr. Mengat. But when you ask the question, say for tax the diaspora, I don't know if there is any such taxation taking place that the diasporans them are being taxed by the government. But Mr. Mengat, what do you understand the question to mean?
Okay, I go answer that question.
Go ahead.
Parliament. Because for do that, remember, now go to the American principles. General Oldfield and the Boston Tea Party. No
Yes.
taxation
Without representation.
Times we've been talk about in Parliament or also in governance. Because even the fact that say diaspora now, if you want votes, where they don't give you the vote. Number one, you get for fly, pay money, go register. You get for go fly back, go verify your vote. You get for fly back, go vote. So Parliament can therefore get the consent of people and from the diaspora. Similar to that, some countries, them, I not say Nigeria try for Duam, and then you get with structure bond, where then they encourage diaspora them for buy bonds for infrastructure. And with, as long as we get for, you remember when they talk about elections for pay for elections, give or take, all around the world, you get the way they Europe, America, and Australia. If £100, $100 for be so again, it's on the principle of no taxation without representation, but it is possible. That's
okay.
my answer.
Una hearing me again?
Yeah,
yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Well, pretty much the reason my question is based on this, what me understand now is this. I believe that with all our problems that we have in our country, number one, the reason no program or project, you let it see any long-time program or project, say for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, say for example, the water supply or electricity or any of these projects, it's because we don't have funding for it. Now, me, I truly believe with a real leadership, you can institute through Parliament, through talking with the diaspora, through talking with the whole country, where you can institute $25 a month on the diaspora and also encourage them for bonds and different things like that. But especially on the $25 a month, I believe with the $25 a month, we have about 1.5 million of us, to some conservative estimates, abroad. If you can get even 750,000 of us paying $25 a month, we can come up to $120 million a month. that you can pump in our economy in rebuilding our infrastructure that is not dependent on the IMF, World Bank, or any other donor countries. Because all them people and them goals are short-term goals. They not ever get long-term goals for us. Hence, we are always dependent on them, begging on them, begging for $20 million here, $40 million here, $100 million here. That is not effective. That will go nowhere. But with this $25 a month, if you are able to get the whole country, and this is mostly for the diaspora, get the diaspora where you can mean test it, where you can get the diaspora involved, they have their own board, where you can get different oversights over this to rebuild our infrastructure, electricity, sanitary systems, schools, universities, the whole 9 yards. You will pump enough in our economy where it will change the trajectory of our land. Because the nonsense that's been going on for the last 60 years and routine to go on right now for the foreseeable future, now big, where it never ever benefit with. Every country where it a big to the IMF and World Bank have never prospered. Because the IMF and the World Bank and the so-called donor countries, it is built for you to be dependent on them. Without economic future, without a real economic policy, with country, we get all this nonsense within the go on.
All right. Thank you so much. The buzzer has gone off. We'll get some more callers then. I would like for Mr. Mengot for remember that. I want to comment on what you say, but let me take some more calls because we always want full participation. So I hope I make a note for respond to some of the things that you say. Hello, caller. Who's you to call from?
Hello, Mr. Shilona. This is Umaru the call again.
All right, sir. Go ahead, Umar.
Okay. Yeah, this now one of the things that we anyway I tell the caller this now one of the things that we made on the call. We made on the call for, I say we forget at least a form of taxation. We Sierra Leone self not for talking about politics, not to talk about development, but we see we self they discourage the IMF and other bodies by contributing to real economy. Also contribute not to for only send $100, $200, $300 or bills, but at least sending money direct into real national coffers. Again, let me tell you, let just highlight a little bit system what we get now. We get 3 pillars of tax we pay. If we go into retirement and so on, we get the first pillar, where we call na alter versicherung, where that is everybody and most we call it just like what to get the NASIT. We get the second pillar when a short time, where that now optional. They will get the third pillar, where if you join them, then they reduce the tax, they get tax returns, but you go collect that money, except when you want to buy house, or you want to start a business, or passive wait where you did retire, they give that money. Then one thing again with Europeans and do, if that one way the color first pillar when obligatory, if you did out of Europe, you walk out of Europe, that money you get for pay them. You not go pay like other the work in the country, but you get for pay them in case, because they don't want to see you in case you only reserve for return. They don't want to see you struggle in the old age where they not go help. So I feel say now some of them discussions that we go forget with a kind of taxation. But again, the government get responsibility, a fair responsibility for play to the diasporas and so on. We then at the diasporas now, we want passport to pass you bribe na salon if you get them. You want renew the passport to pass you bribe na salon you get them. And the most worst part of it, the people that the embassies na the diaspora, now then they ask people for money. Where you could imagine the diaspora embassies and they ask Sierra Leoneans for $200-300 for passport, will cost $100 na home. So then I go encourage the person, I go call them discussion and say the person for pay tax. Where most of them their services they are not there. And if it's somebody they pay tax, no matter what it happen, if you see some level of services where himself say these are the pay a legitimate tax for them. So in as much as we they call for the diasporas, for at least will pay some taxes, at least will say we will help in development in that country, but the government say for hold on to the taxes. The diasporas, at least if they say anything, don't we work and let me just move now 3 hours, I go to Geneva, I meet box, I have vote. Like I ready for my passport now, I go to embassy in Geneva, I have to pay for my passport, I get my passport. But now you want passport to pass na salon, and the worst thing when you go to the embassy, they go again, now then the old money na you get the old excess money na you. So how we go encourage diasporas for pay taxes, then taxes where then they have the work, where forget the services as a Sierra Leoneans, and then they will get them. So you see, even in Nigeria, where them boku. If you want passport, you go to Geneva, you the fingerprint there, you do everything there. The issue after 2 weeks, the issue has a passport. But we pass we work then you say how we go contribute. And I like the idea say law will contribute as the will taxes and because 45 francs to win almost someone next to nothing. But waiting at the benefit of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Welcome. I'm you thought. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. Who's side you call from?
Welcome back, Mr. Mengot and Mr. Shilo. This is Abdul call from Maryland.
Thank you, Abdul. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I thank you for this program. I just meet it on start. I also want to touch on the resignation of the Speaker of Parliament, but I will touch on that. I just want to give me only two suggestions on this. Two previous scholars on this taxation, but I don't want to say I'm a taxation per se. I believe say diaspora them and many Sierra Leoneans they don't get trust in government, not necessarily matter being in government. They don't get trust in government for manage the resources of the country. So my own suggestion is we go get a basket fund. A basket fund where you go there any side. We can get wherever you Europe, America, even Africa or Asia, Australia, or then at the Bank of Sierra Leone, but being managed by diasporans. Then with a liaise with government, whatever we able for put, even a $5 able for put for the month, you send and day. Would I get £3, you put send and day. With a liaise with government, we go get 3 priorities or 2 priorities. One, the two key ones are education, school education, and health. That's for basket funding. Government go tell we the opportunity cost. The most areas or communities where need them services in day. If na health center for bill, we go get we own architect or whoever. I don't say that pro bono. You get the plan. We go and bill and if na school, we know how many classrooms we want build, whether na primary school, whether na secondary school, because these are mega billions projects when government are able to undertake them one no more. We need for chipping. We go talk here from January to December. Government they want box, but they aren't short. So if na them kind of thing and then we na the diaspora we plan. Me not believe for say they for tax we, but let we get that basket funding. Whatever we get, if not $3 get, I just send and it. If not $2, $5, 10, whatever God bless you with, we only send and it from different parts of the world. Then we ask government the most needy areas them. We need schools, for example. We need health center. Like the issue, the one can do good one when I show that one they carry amok. So like that community and if we identify say this community in the health center they need here, we get we own architects, there are diasporans who are architects, who are engineers, civil engineers, then we them get the plan for everything, then we go talk to the area, the community, whatever day, then give we the cost, then we undertake the project. I don't think it's not going to be an elephant project. Then project then a small project that we able for help. If now water well, we go to areas that we need them, we will be able for embark on. I mean, they think of boku. Me they do me own in my own small way, with waiting God they bless me with. Me na Liberian, I they send for schools them, books them. They me own little way where I get what they do them. But when if you do them as a bunch, as a dance, as a whole, we all, it go fine. Now, we go able to help the country. Because if we do, let we not talk the talk, but let we walk the walk. So me, I only tell you 100% support that. But let it be a basket fund. Government for superintendent, now we diaspora we go select people of integrity, we go be signatories so any project, any of them projects in, whether not for water well, whether not for build schools, whether not for build health center, we go and do them, we safe. We hand over to the community. I have make my own contribution as top super. Thank you. I will call back.
All right. Thank you so much, Abdul. I appreciate that. Well, this is the reason why, the idea, I think, like you say, enough for call them taxation, we can call it contribution or some kind of voluntary form of making. And then I think the incentive would be whatever you put in, there should be some returns in exchange for whatever you put in. And the idea is great by you, by others, the mechanics of all of that. Once you get the idea, they are well-educated Sierra Leoneans as well as non-Sierra Leoneans who have expertise in any kind of areas they have for make them suggestions here become reality and for work efficiently. But let us not forget, with history, for do all of that, we have to understand with propensity, both as Sierra Leoneans and as Africans. Because somebody call and complain about the IMF and say, talk to with some degree, some disgust about the IMF. But here is some of the things then where we are the main contributing factor we would ignore. We leaders them, let me just read this comment. Thanks to that caller for bringing up such topics. I hope authorities are listening. Yeah, but even if authorities are listening, are authorities well-meaning? Do they have the same desire to make progress in the country, or they have desire for funding for coming so they can go build hotel, build private housing, marry more wives? These are the things. So integrity matters, because there is a saying, they say with integrity, nothing else matters. Without integrity, nothing else matters. Because meaning, if you get integrity, people will trust you enough and listen to your ideas and try to follow you. But if you don't get them, nothing else matters, because you don't get them, so people are not going to listen to you anyway. So with it, nothing else matters. Without it, nothing else matters. This is the thing we are striving for. Integrity is lacking. It's lacking because we see openly, notoriously, how people they divert public funds into personal use. You see, we can't lose sight of that. Again, these are the things. So the gentleman will talk about, we can able come up with hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes, the calculation is right. We don't necessarily need funding from international organizations, but let me just touch on this funding for international organizations from them, where we all can feel disappointed. And I was listening to a video made by, I was trying to find the person who made that. Oh no, it was an audio about why we complain so much about the IMF and the World Bank. Then they give we high interest rates where we borrow money, but they're not do them for other countries that are not African countries or black countries. But This person point out, where I agree with, he said, for we whether they abroad, particularly the Western world, we know what maintaining good credit means. The higher your credit rating, the lesser the interest on whatever you borrow. And the more you get the ability for borrow. And the lower your credit rating, the harder it is for you for borrow money. And if you do borrow, it will be at a higher rate of interest because whoever they lend you the money, they take higher risk. Now, the reality is African countries are notorious for not paying their debts. These are facts. Okay, so why do we want to be classed with other countries and where they pay them debt and expect we for pay the same interest rate where then they pay? So if then they pay 2% where they borrow, on what basis do we think we should get 2% where all the time then they write off with debt, we're not able to pay anything? And we're not able to pay anything, not because we lack the ability to, we just lack the integrity for commit ourselves to whatever we know our obligations are. So this thing about the IMF, I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding. I mean, some of it might have racial implications, but I think generally speaking, we are the cause of we being treated the way we're being treated. And then look at, of late, some of the African countries are borrowing monies. They themselves, among the leaderships of some of them countries here, they can produce sufficient amount of money for do certain project because of what they personally are worth. But yet they go borrow money where then self get the ability to produce. So we have to be very careful. So this thing about putting money together, these are all good ideas, and that's what we should be talking about. But integrity matters. So what will be the framework? How do we set it up? And it only makes sense that people, whatever you put your money in, you get some returns on your investment. Because go ahead, Mr. Mengot. I think you have something in mind.
On the line. I think I'll give this caller the opportunity because we don't get much time. And I want
I was going to do that. No, I was going to do that.
Based on personal experience.
No, I was going to do that. I was going to let him. Okay. Hello, caller. Who's the call from?
Yes. Good afternoon again, Mr. Sherlin and Mr. Magog. I was the earlier caller that started, that talked about this $25. I just want to finish this aspect to it. I want to put this in a broader highlight, if you guys don't mind.
No, we don't. Go ahead.
Okay. So my point that I'm trying to make with this is the space of Sierra Leone in our political discourse for the last several decades is there is no broad real leadership that think about economic issues in a very fundamental basis, in a sense that, again, I will repeat back to this. All the promises on the both sides, the APC, the SLPP, for the last 60 years, all them promises that we don't make to us, they never back it up how they will pay for them. The funding aspect is never talked about. So it means not just like no more for tell me what you want for Yeri. Up to today, if you go to this president and find big agenda where they talk about, there is no funding mechanism behind it. So it's all just nonsense again. Right? If you are budgeting right now based on what donors will go give you or what you go trust, how about if landing no count? Then the project need to move on. I believe with the $25 taxation by talking with the diaspora, coming up with all kind of mechanism where you go safeguard them, where you go get real oversight, where you go get auditors. Number one, it will give we the diaspora also power, where we go you will change different things in the country, where we go you will help change different things in the country. Because if you look at what we go you will bring a month to the country, to the government, it's more than what in the IMF, the World Bank, and the so-called donor countries will bring a month. Who are the government will listen to more? You will change our land this way. We with self. We in the diaspora not going to just sit on at the sideline. We need to be part of this. And part of this also, if you add to that, Mr. Mango, I believe you know this more. Maybe you can talk about this more. How much money will you save, say, if you reduce the departments of ministries that we have from 24, 26 to, say, maybe 12. You consolidate them. And collect taxes in the country also, especially on the rich, the so-called wealthy. We believe if we apply this and have a real government, we will be able to save up to $450 million a month. We will be able to pump in our economy in our country. That will grow our country. Within 5-10 years, we will build every infrastructure to more the standard in our land that will boom our economy, that will bring security and prosperity to our land. I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. And let me go to Mr. Mengot. Mr. Mengot, you want to resume what you be the talk? Please, yeah. I would like to address this bar issue and the upcoming election on the Sierra Leone bar. But go ahead.
What I'll do?
No. Don't worry.
I'll just read this diaspora.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
I want to respond on this issue of diaspora involvement in governance, development, contribution. Now, let's look at this way. I'm not talking from a personal experience. And let's go back. If we go back, when President Nkrumah came to power, he set up the Office of the Diaspora. Right? There was even somebody recruited from America who was heading that office and become an MP. So that you go see who signed at the diaspora focus. Then one. When this present government, President Biowe, talked about human capital development, he talked about working with the diaspora, harnessing the skills of diaspora. What happened? So when we talk about changing the dynamics in Sierra Leone, it is not just contributing to funds and everything, and this is very brilliant. It's also giving skills. From my own personal experience, gave my skills initially as a consultant, then 2 years free work for the country, and one area where we need to try for develop, where you have diaspora can invest now for improve with transport system, because most diaspora will tell you, Bokuman they send money going for let them buy taxi, let them buy puda. Where transport system is deplorable. I created the basis for that. And even help for facilitate that. What did I get? The same people from the diaspora, because of political
leaning
partnership, they went out putting all things about me that I'm a convicted criminal. I'm defrauded. And them, they spread them around. But I'll get for a reply to them, but I'll wait. But let me tell you one thing. I will make it clear, and I will give you an export reform and waiting to happen. The missed opportunity we'll get in that country. I will tell them plainly, because I can challenge anybody for written for 8 years. You need a conviction. For work as a World Bank consultant for over 12 years, you need clearance. You don't get forget any taint of a consultant. But when you get the same people in diaspora, when some of us go there and sacrifice, they put out these things, and then the same people in the diaspora, they spread around. So how would you encourage diaspora for going involved in Sierra Leone government? Some of us, we're still there because people who are in this platform reached out to me, and I thank them very much. Say that they get a valuable, for round it up, what they talk. Let me give an example of where that diaspora contribution works. Not taxation. I worked in Somaliland. In Somaliland, they have a trust fund. Now the Somalians, now they run the country. Somaliland does not have any money from World Bank or IMF. I went there and worked as a consultant. They are running their country perfectly for contributions from the diaspora because there's that element of trust. There's a mechanism for involvement. Recently, I just come up Banjul as well Gambians then they actually invest na Gambia. Sierra Leoneans then they retire from Europe stay in Gambia. So we not get trust. Ready for change the system. That's all I got for say. Let me left and so.
Well, again, thank you, Mr. Mengot, because I mean there's an area where we go. Okay, somebody's calling saying you're breaking up in the studio. Sorry, we'll get mechanical interference, but I think we can help that. Hopefully, when they catch enough for get a clear understanding of what Mr. Mengot is saying. But the issue here is, and these are the things. So when we talk about, again, going back to what we were talking about, these are all good ideas. But like Mr. Mengot said, we're going to forget trust, two kinds of trust. We're going to forget a trust fund, and then we're going to forget trust in the people and where they run the trust fund. And where that brings about the third element, when our integrity that I mentioned earlier. This is something we should strive towards. We cannot be racing to illegitimately extract money from well put together funds for we own personal use. Then all them and they get chain reaction. Then we undermine the efficiency and the effectiveness of the legal system. So if you not get with the talk about foreign investors, with the talk about this, with the talk about that, we have to have a strong judicial system whereby people then go get relief or remedies if they've been wronged. We cannot have a judicial system that nobody trusts for political purpose or for contractual purpose or any other. We can't forget the ordinary man has to have some trust in the system. It's not going to be a perfect system. And we're going to demonstrate that because talk is cheap. We just can't talk about what we plan for do. You know? You see, sometimes when people then talk, I remember there was a time in the previous government when President Kurumasi went in kind of power in 100 days, he go give the country light. Well, he accomplished that all right. But what we did not know, they can say the devil is in the details. So they get a power ship for calm, then produce light, but at enormous expense to the country and not the most efficient way for produce light, like he said, but he met the 100-day and goal where he set. So these are some of the things we should be careful about, the details. And I'm only citing that. Sometimes we'll go back to citing the previous government, even though logically speaking, we should be saying very little about the previous government because that's why they are not in power. Because they did not keep to certain promises, the people make a decision and voted another party in power. So the party in power is where our focus should be, not the one that is out. Because they are out because they didn't do what was expected of them. You need to forget this logic in mind. So we're not like for to do the tit for tat. If you criticize SPP, you get for criticize APC. APC is not the power. And they were voted out of office. We have to realize that. And they were voted out of office by APC people, supporters, them, and all the SAP people, because they did not live up to expectation. So you can't be telling us that when you say something negative about SAPP, you have to say something negative about APC. In all logical, it don't make sense, because these people don't have power anymore. And they have been put out by the people. So let's understand that. So a lot of times, people like me, they only make reference to the former government at the time to put it in perspective. Now, I use the 100 days, but the implication of that is, or the illustration of that is, so don't always go by what some politicians then say. Like I say, the devil is in the details. Always when politicians make promises, ask them how they want to accomplish that promise there. Because they might know that it will cost you now, but they're not going to tell you, and they could just fool you now, because that's part of the characteristics of being a politician, is that deception is part of the game. Deception is part of it. So we just said, there are so many things we need for address. Let me just jump quickly before we run completely out of time. We may come back. Some people are interested. I think there is a proposed, or there is an upcoming election for the presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, or the office of the president for the Sierra Leone Bar Association. And there are 3 able lawyers, I'm told, who are running or vying for that position there. 2 female, 1 male. And these are supposedly prominent lawyers, but I know Mr. Augustine Sembe Mara is one of them, who is renowned for being a civil rights lawyer, a human rights lawyer, and speaks his mind. And for all we know, he's committed to the cause. Now, what I would propose, instead of us taking a position, we would try to invite all 3 of them on our programs, either together or separately, depending on what would be the most expedient way of doing it before the election, hopefully within the week, for let them can express themselves to why then things say them for head the Sierra Leone Bar Association. And they will make their own judgment, and we don't have to do any endorsement or premature endorsement, or we don't even want to get into the habit of, we trust the intelligence of the people. If we give them sufficient information, they should be able to make a reasonable judgment. So that would be my position. Mr. Mara, as well as 2 females, are all 3 running for the office. And that office day is very important. The Sierra Leone Bar Association has been a little bit dormant. They should have been taking leading positions on so many national issues that they have just been quiet about. Again, I don't want to bias the mind of anybody, because I gave me your own personal opinion. The Bar Association has not lived up to my expectation. They have not pursued the old adage of the profession being a noble profession. They have not conducted themselves nobly. So we really want the organization, because like they say, we cannot expect organization of engineers, organization of dentists and doctors to promote civil rights causes. They are primarily not lawyers and for do that. Okay, so that being said, at the risk, I don't even want to risk endorsing anybody, but I would just give a general objective opinion, and I will ask management, now VOS, for see if we can invite these people, these 3 candidates, to come and state their position, why they want to head watching at the vision for the Bar Association vis-a-vis that of the country, because they are inseparable, and the lawyers then for take the lead in terms of the rule of law, civil rights, human rights, constitutional rights, and all those rights. So that's all I can say at this point in time, and we'll see what happens. So again, There are lots and lots of things that can be talked about. Again, if people know VOS, we just try for make whatever little contribution we can make for make Sierra Leone a better place. And we know say a country changes itself through its people. The country as a thing or an entity cannot do anything by itself or for itself unless the people in it decide to make the changes or the necessary changes needed for improvement. So with that said, let me go back to my co-host, the very able Victor Mengat, and see if he has anything else to say, because I have a lot to say, but time is up. But I will turn it over to Mr. Mengat and see what he has to say.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sure into this parliamentary, because some people ask, say, how do we change the system? And we at VOS, we always give a solution, how to change the system. So there's lots and lots of things, especially now when we get an opportunity for the changing of the guard in the form of the speaker. We will continue that particular topic because the speaker in date way for leave office is effective from the 30th of April. Ideally, we would think, say, sometimes they would do the election before the 30th because you now leave and vacant. And we expect, say, the speaker self, would they make an appeal to him, right? If he confirms, say, they retire on health grounds, but the man will know, say, he's a very eloquent man, he will come and actually give we some of his highs and low. In fact, we get one video self where the speaker be apologized to the nation, say Parliament been there at the headlines for the wrong reasons, and apologize to the people for which it happened. So we want to continue with this thing, and also the rumor about the constitutional review process, and we'll continue with the parliamentary reform process, the judiciary, as my colleague always do, because then they also link with the Bar Association election, and we're keeping her informed about what we do. We're thanking her very much for listening. Me not get nothing for say much, and as usual, I'm back on board, despite the negative things the way people don't say. But whatever you may do in this world, people will talk about you. I'll continue giving what I can to my country, and we wishing all a pleasant week, a fruitful week, and a safe week. Until we meet again next Sunday, this time I host Victor Akumengot from Surrey in Southeast England. They say Tata.
All right, and very quickly, let me just say, before I say goodbye, let me just read some comments. Somebody said the Bar Association is being politicized and there is no neutrality, whatever that possibly means. The Bar Association, yeah, it's being politicized and there is no neutrality or integrity. Well, I don't know what that person means. The Bar Association may be lacking in integrity. I may share that view. And maybe there is no neutrality as it is, but they've had some reputable, I think one of the most admirable president they've had in recent years has been Patricia Michael. She has been very outspoken. She continues to be very outspoken on matter of national interest. This is a sound suggestion to send an invite to these three candidates to come to VOS and put up their positions on their elections. Yeah, we're going to endeavor in that regard to make sure that these people come on board. And if they are willing, and so when I can get the ability for questions them, and then we will go further. Because again, we're not getting any agenda in the VOS. Our agenda is love of country. You see, like where you wife or your girlfriend will say, well, you tell me say you like me all the time, kiss me one time, make I know say you love me. The same thing. Let we kiss Salon one time, let Salon no say we love him. But we don't say we love Salon, mama this and that. Every opportunity to get, we kick her. Any opportunity to get, we slap her. Every opportunity to get, we pinch her. This and that we do. So let's just be real. And this Mama Salon, let we put some meaning to the phrases they would use, but me not see any way where would they demonstrate, say, we like this country, because when we get opportunity for make the country nice, beautiful, enjoyable, what do? We undermine the efficiency, the effectiveness of everything we have to do. So that's what we're saying. But we not get any hidden agenda. Salone is above every one of us. Salone is above any political party. Some of us don't believe in the two major parties. That should be respected. So with that said, let me say good night. Thank you for listening. Please tune to we next time, same time next week. We will get some trending issues for talk about. And we hope we don't make some meaningful contribution, and we will continue to do so as we think say we're a leading voice in terms of the promotion of national interests and hopefully the promotion of the principle of integrity. Thank you very much. Good night. Goodbye. See you next week.